oh yeah, I'm that guy, I'm him. I went up there and saw probably 3 straight sliders. And those are the nastiest sliders I've ever seen in my life. Struck out. I think I swung at all 3 of them. I went 1 for 12 on the weekend, and I got back on the bus, and I was like, I'm awful. This is like, there's no way.
Hello, I'm Hank Merrick, and this is Harrison Barnes. Welcome to the Wellness for Life podcast.
What's going on, guys? Today we have a special guest, one of my best friends, Tuskegee, Evan Jones. Baseball player, standout player. We're doing a little different this time. We usually give our introductions for our guests, but I want him to tell his story from his perspective. I don't want to hinder what he may have. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, Evan Jones.
All right. Well, I'm Evan Jones. I'm from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I've been born and raised as a family man, God-fearing, and making sure everybody around me is good. Learning from my parents, big thing for me is having a good work ethic, because that didn't fly in my house. So learning from them, I've always wanted to be a hard worker, be able to self-assess myself so I can know when I'm not working hard enough. Other than that, I just like giving back to the community, playing baseball, love children, and I've gotten into coaching. So those are my big things for me right now.
Sure. So we know you grew up in a pretty competitive household. You had brothers, so tell us about them stories, like what it was like growing up with brothers. When y'all got in probably fights, y'all, just tell us about it, man. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about it.
Well, being the middle child, it was rough, real rough. I got to be on the good side of some fights. I got to join in with my younger brother, team up with my older brother, join with my older brother and team up on the younger one. The bad days were most of the time they team up on me. And so a lot of those would end up my older brother hold me and my younger brother punching me or kicking me. And I was like, I had to figure it out, because at that point, if I started screaming or crying, my parents don't care if their younger brother hit me. They worry about if he's the one crying. So they kind of figured out a way to work the system to not get in trouble. So I had to toughen up real quick. And then when I could get my sneak in and get a good lick in on them, I made sure I got that. And I had to get my get back in.
Everybody I know has a bunch of brothers always can fight.
Yep.
It don't matter who it is, for female, male, whatever. You got a bunch of brothers, you learn how to fight.
Yeah, and I tried to avoid them, and I don't get in many fights. Try to avoid every fight I can, like, possible in everyday life, just because I know when I fought them, I started seeing red, and I was like, some of these things I've done, I might have taken it too far on other people. I was like, I need to know how to calm myself down and not get to those situations. So I just try to avoid any conflict possible.
So we know athletics runs really deep in your family blood right now. So you got a brother that's a coach, another brother that's playing division 2.
Yeah, 2 or 3. I don't know. I just know he's playing basketball.
high level
Yeah.
basketball, man. So like what is that like? Why baseball? What made you choose baseball when everybody else in your family was had a different path?
Well, it really started. So my older brother got a late jump on sports. I got to start at 5, which is a little bit later than a few people, but I'd say it's a good age to start playing. So he got a later jump, and he played basketball, baseball, soccer. Me being the younger brother at the time, I wanted to do the same thing he was doing. So I got into basketball, baseball, soccer. I found out I didn't like the 5 and 6-year-old soccer, because everybody's in a circle bumping around trying to kick a ball. And I was like, there's no reason for me to get in there if I'm not going to touch the ball. So after that year, I kind of told my parents, I was like, hey, soccer's not it for me. And then I just kind of got stuck in with basketball, baseball. A few years later, I started playing football. I enjoyed football. Mark Ingram was the running back at Bama. And that was like my first few years watching football. So I wanted number 22. I wanted to be Mark Ingram. I was doing jump cuts every chance I got. So I thought football was going to be my sport. And then probably about middle school, my parents told me pick two. And I was like, well, kids start hitting pretty hard. I think football might be down on the side for a little minute. And then I just thought I was going to be small my whole life because I was on the shorter end of everybody. And so I was like, baseball is easier to get out as a short kid. Basketball, if you're under 6 foot, you better be able to shoot from half court. You gotta have something going on with you. And I was like, that's too much. Like I gotta figure out a whole bunch of things to be there. So baseball became my sport, and then I grew. And I was like, well, I committed to baseball. I enjoy it more. That's kind of how that happened for me.
So we know faith is a big part of a lot of us. So what does faith mean to you? You went to Holy Spirit High School, so it's pretty much all around you, man. What does faith really truly mean to you, man?
For me, growing up at Holy Spirit, that's a Catholic school in Tuscaloosa, but I grew up and I still am a Baptist. So a big thing for me when I would play sports with guys from other schools like AAU, summer baseball, travel baseball, they'd be like, "Oh, are you Catholic?" Because they know I went to Holy Spirit, and I was like, "No, I'm Baptist. I just go to a Catholic school." But I would say I came from my parents. They wanted me to have a good education, and they wanted me to be able to learn about God. So those were two big things for them. And Holy Spirit taught. We had a theology class or religion class from basically pre-K 3, which is where I started, all the way up until you graduated, because we had pre-K all the way to senior year. So I was learning about God every day. The only, I guess, off day you would say would be Saturday, and that was usually Bama football. But it was really God. You learn about Him every day, and then you go to church and you learn about Him. And so I got to see the Catholic aspect, the Baptist aspect, and I'd say I probably have a different view of God than other people, just because I've kind of had a mesh of both religions, and I know like, oh, I like that idea. This one's a little different from what I would say, but I think that was a big part of me finding God and being able to make my own relationship with God.
100%. That's great, man. That's great. So I always remember you telling me that Holy Spirit on the baseball side, you was playing with middle schoolers, like seventh graders, eighth graders. Like, what was that like, man? Did that like shift your mentality? You feel like you was like Kobe, had to put the team on your back. Like, how was you feeling, man? Like, how did that make you feel playing with
Um,
players?
well, being like I had to put the team on my back, I felt like that all growing up, and it wasn't because my teammates weren't good. I was just so competitive. So I was like, I gotta go. I gotta play hard. And then after games, my dad would be like, "Did you give 100%?" And I was like, "If we lost, I didn't give 100% because 100% is me doing it right to win the game." That was my mindset. Even though now I know that's not true, but that was my mindset at the time. I was like, I just want to win. So when I got to my senior year and I was playing with middle schoolers, for me, I saw it as a moment to teach them because my seventh grade year, my older brother was a senior in high school. And I played like 3 games on varsity, but it was because it was spring break and people were out of town. So I got to play on varsity with my brother, and I was like, oh, this is great. This is amazing. So I knew how they would see it as like, oh, I get to play at this high level. But I also knew you go up there and strike out 5 times in a row. Now you feel like you're the worst player ever because you can't hit something that you're not really prepared for. So after that, I think the next year I finally adjusted. So I got to play varsity from 8th grade all the way to senior year. So like when they first came in, I was like, hey, it's going to be hard. I promise you. You're not going to get up there and hit every time. There's going to be some guys with beards up there throwing. And you're going to be like, oh, I can't hit this because it's too fast. And I was like, don't worry about it. You work every day. Get as many games as you can. See as many pitches as you can. I was like, you'll eventually adjust and figure it out. And I think now all those middle schoolers are juniors and seniors. And they've been doing pretty good the past few years. So I hope I did a good job with them.
Yeah, great leader. He always was a great leader.
Yeah, I
Always.
can tell. I can tell. And so as you made your climb and started excelling in baseball and became a high school prodigy, uh, how did you make the decision to choose to go to a great HBCU, HBCU, such as Tuskegee? And
Mhm.
what was that like showing up at that campus with all of the history of all of the great Black leaders that have come out of a school like that? Because when you say a name like that, the name carries more weight than anything that anybody does there. As soon as you say
Mhm.
the name, it doesn't matter if you're an engineer, it doesn't matter if you're an accountant, athlete, or whatever. When you say that name, people are triggered by that name of the school. I'm going to Tuskegee to pursue whatever else after that. It's
Yeah.
like they hear that name
I guess.
and it's like, oh wow, that's like okay, so okay, then we'll talk about whatever you're doing. But that's secondary
Yeah.
to where you at.
Yeah.
So what was that like making a decision from high school to go there? And what was that like when you first got there and the weight of that transitioning yourself from high school to life there in baseball?
Um. Well, making the decision was a no-brainer. Getting to the point to be able to have that decision, it was some miscommunication that happened on my recruiting. But when it came to making that decision, it seemed like a second home to me. Growing up, my first pastor I ever had, um, he was there from when I was a baby all the way till I think my freshman year of college, and then he kind of stepped down and everything. But he went to Tuskegee, and so I didn't know that, but that was the reason we always took trips like every year or every other year as a church to go to Tuskegee. That wasn't the main reason, but like he knew it, he knew how to get there, and the church constantly went there. Half of my church went to Tuskegee, the other half went to Alabama State. So when I made my decision, it was either half the church was like, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing," and then the other half was like, "You should have chose Alabama State," just because they're being rivals. But everybody there was happy for me, and it was just I took trips there every year, whether it be with my church or I was in Jack and Jill, or we take the trip with Jack and Jill there. And so I would see the campus a lot. We always learned about the history, the Tuskegee Airmen, and so like when the coach finally, I got in contact with him finally, and he said that he wanted me to come to the school. I was like, this is basically no brainer. This is a second home to me. I get to play still in the South because I know you guys in Cincinnati, but I can't stand cold weather. Cold weather in my bones, they don't work.
I'm with
So
you on that, my brother. I'm with you on that. Hey, I'm all in with you on that, man.
yeah,
You
so
didn't
like
gotta
I
pay for
had to
me.
Oh, I'm out of here.
stay in the heat. So I was like, okay, I'm still in the South. I'm close enough for my parents to come see me play. So it feels like a second home. I was like, this is a great place for me to be at, and also being able to say I went to an HBCU because there's a lot of opportunities that we don't get as black men or black women even just because of our skin. And yes, things are getting a little bit better, but they're still not where they should be. So I was like, that's opportunities I can get. I can be seen as an equal to everybody else there. And then baseball, being black in baseball is hard. And I was like, that's at the time it was the whole team was African American. And so I was like, that coach is going to give me a fair chance to play a position. And it's not going to be, oh, he's got favorites. It's we're all on the same level. He knows what life is like as a young black man. He's going to give me a fair fighting chance for a starting job. So that was kind of how my decision was made.
I don't know. Evan, we always joke about this all the time. Like, I was always shy when I came to Tuskegee. I still am shy. People don't believe it, but he's actually the first person I said a word to when I was at Tuskegee. I was there all in the room. I probably didn't talk for like the first full week. And he's the first person.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yes. I was fine. I couldn't shut up after that. He'd always just be talking.
When I first met him, I think I met two or three guys who were in our class before that. Um, One of them was Alex, who you guys had um, on here before. But Alex was hanging out with that guy, and I was in the car with him. And then we met a few other people, and I think Harrison came in like the next week because he was in the RBI baseball. So like before he even knew us, we knew he was on the RBI baseball with the Reds, and we were like, oh, he's a dog. He's gonna be good. We want him. And so we were all excited to see him. And when he finally moved in, we were like, he probably felt bombarded because I think we all probably showed up at the exact same time. He probably moved his stuff in and had about 5 minutes in the room, and we showed up. And we were at the door, and so like, we were ready to meet him. And I realized he was kind of quieter because he kind of stepped back for a second. You could kind of see it. And I was like, all right. And I tried to let him do his thing, but then I was like, he's gonna speak. You're gonna have to talk. So I would consistently say something to him. And there'd be times they'd be like, Evan, Harry B only like responds to you. And he wouldn't say nothing. He'd just be like, nod his head, shrug. And I would be like, all right, if that's how you're going to communicate, we'll figure it out. And then like a week later, he said something. And I was like, oh my gosh, Harry B spoke to me. And I told everybody. And they were like, what? He speaks? And I was like, yeah.
Trust me, you are not the first person to say that.
And then like folks didn't believe it, like on the team, they'd be like, Harry B talks, and I was like, yeah. And then I'd be like, he talks a lot. And I was like, he just takes a while to start speaking to people, and they never believed it. By senior year though, we all knew he talked a lot. And he had a joke for us every day. Even if he was being serious, sometimes you couldn't take him serious because like he'd be so serious or so mad. It was like, you got to laugh at it. You got to laugh.
Baseball is a hard enough game, man. You got to make it fun. You got to talk it up because it's already stressful enough, man. But that brings my next question, though. College baseball is hard. Probably, I mean, obviously pro ball is the hardest, but college baseball, man, the grind, like just school, athletic, man, it's just crazy. It's a different type of grind. But when you got to college, like what would you say was your welcome to college moment on the baseball side?
My welcome to college moment, it would probably be the end of fall, beginning of spring. Because our first scrimmage we had, like I went lights out. They had me start at short for one of the two teams that we had. I made every play that was hit to me. I think I went 4 for 4, and we faced the guy who's the number one guy for the team, and they were talking about, oh, he's got a good fastball, and I think I hit it off like dead center off the fence. Then they had another guy. He was like a junior. I hit left field off the fence. So I'm thinking, oh, I'm good, and I wasn't thinking, oh, I'm about to start because I'm a freshman. I'm probably going to still work, but I feel good, like I'm going to get some good playing time. By the end of the freshman fall, Hollins, I love him. And I had no issue with him when he talked to me about it because he was like, freshman is going to be a struggle to get you in. But he was like, we got a lot of shortstops and a lot of third basemen. You can go to first base and play. And I told him, I was like, I just want to be on the field. So like right then I was like, I'm not as good as what I thought I was compared to everybody else. And I've always been hard on myself with self-assessment. So I was like, something's off. And so I had to learn how to ask a coach and somebody else for their assessment of me because I was thinking I'm hard on myself. And if I think I'm doing good enough to get a spot, I should be in that spot. But then I was like, he's seeing something I don't see. And then the start of the spring, I didn't start that first game. And I came in and hit a double. And I was like, see, I'm showing them. I know I'm good. And then we played, I think, Florida Tech. And they were like ranked number 8 in D2 at the time. And Harrison had gotten hurt in that first game. So I ended up playing outfield in his spot. Oh, my goodness. I play outfield like the second game, but the first game, I'm a freshman hitting 4-hole as a DH. And at that time, I was never a power hitter. So I was like, yeah, I started to get a little pop. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm that guy. I'm him. I went up there and saw probably 3 straight sliders. And those are the nastiest sliders I've ever seen in my life. Struck out. I think I swung at all 3 of them. I went 1 for 12 on the weekend. And I got back on the bus and I was like, I'm awful. This is like, there's no way. I just did that. And Hollins came and spoke to me. He's like, hey, you're a freshman. It's going to be rough. if you're hitting in the 4 hole, they're not going to give you anything good. You got to learn how to play at a different level. So for me, that was my welcome to college moment. It was a rough one. Wasn't expecting it, but
I
that
remember
was it.
I remember that series like it was yesterday. I mean, it was crazy, man. Even going back, getting hurt, man, getting hurt the first game, like that was my welcome to college. I'm like, man, I done showed up first game hype. I done dislocated my elbow. I'm like, oh
Uh,
man, here we go.
Yeah,
I just
that one. I I think that was like you had started to come out your shell a good bit to the whole team, and I came out the dugout and I was like, "Harry, you good?" Because he went for the diving play and it got in his glove when he hit the ground and popped out, and he was just running off the field holding his arm. He was looking eyes big. And I was like, "What's wrong?" And he looked at his elbow, and I was like, "Oh." I was like, "No, you good, bro. You good." But I was like, "I can't look at it
it was bad.
because he's gonna know it's bad." I was like,
It was,
"Yeah, you're good. You're good." But
it was-
yeah.
I considering you and what you've done and accomplished and listening to you and your level of self-awareness, and you seem to be very aware about us as a people and what's going on, and kudos and shout out to your parents for raising you that way. The next question I'm going to ask you is a little bit, it's on the sport of athleticism and athletes, but it's a little bit different.
Okay.
And in the recent Supreme Court ruling that has attacked civil rights
Mm-hmm.
and voting rights for African Americans, um, there has been a call from politicians of Black politicians and some others to reaching out to Black athletes that are participating in sports at Southern schools or red states who have signed off on redistricting and taking away our voter rights. Um, and they're pushing for athletes to switch over from red state colleges that um, a lot of which endorse the taking away of our voter rights, so the SEC schools and things like that, to switch over to blue state colleges, switch over to USC, UCLA, and other schools, versus the Southern schools, which have endorsed the Supreme Court decision and are redistricting, taking voter rights away. How do you feel as a Black athlete who went to a historic Black college and also redirecting them to HBCUs versus schools, in the SEC and other Southern schools? How do you feel about that? And what do you think your response would have been if someone had approached you to do that, if you had went to a school like Alabama or Ole Miss or something like that, or was considering going to that school, what would have been your answer? And how do you feel about them reaching out for athletes to do that, to change over schools?
For me, like I I think the start of the HBCU push came like the year before, a few years before, or like around the time when I first got into college. And growing up, I was big SEC fan. Being from Alabama, being from Tuscaloosa, I'm like a few minutes from Bama's campus, so I've always been a Bama fan. So like at that time, I think if an SEC school offered me, I would have been like, I got to take it. But seeing that I had HBCU offer me changed like my whole perspective. It was like that's a place built for people like me, for me to get an opportunity, and I saw it as a good thing because I was like, this is great opportunity for me to get another aspect. I won't be at Holy Spirit. It was mainly white kids, so I was like, I get to go into a place where I'm around like-minded people. I get to be around my people. I get to have that experience. So I really enjoyed that. I hate it as a Bama fan. That's hard for me to say with that ruling and everything. I mean, I'm still a Bama fan, but I don't like the way that ruling went down. Um, I do think there should be a push to go to HBCUs. Um, I wouldn't necessarily say out of the red states because we have a lot of HBCUs in red states, but I think there should be a big push to go to HBCUs where they will take care of you. They want to make sure things are done so that you're safe, whether you're an athlete or just a regular student. They're pushing so that you're safe and that you know what you're getting into in the everyday life. Even if you didn't learn about it all the way in high school, they try to prepare you for everything. And they connect you with other successful Black business owners and everything for your future. So I think there should be a push to go there. And also to be able to let them know I have respect for myself. I'm not saying you don't respect yourself if you do go, but there's a certain way I view myself, and I don't want you to be able to control my situation. I think we've been in controlled situations for a while as African Americans in America. So I think we should be able to move so we can make our own decisions. There's a guy at Bama right now playing baseball. He grew up with my younger brother. He's a freshman, young Black kid. He did amazing in high school baseball last year. I think he led the state in home runs. I was very excited for him to go to Bama. I love that he's going there because he can get eyes on him to go to the next level, which I think there's a very good chance he'll do that. But at the same time, if he did have the opportunity and could go to HBCU, I would prefer that because he will still be able to get eyes on him to go to that next level. But I think it'd be a tough decision. Basically, for them, I would say if you feel like you are good enough to get to that next level, go to a HBCU. If that's what you want, go to a HBCU. You will still get eyes on you. We've got minority baseball prospects. They make sure their guys get seen. I just know a lot of them are diehard SEC fans, even with the stuff going on, or diehard fan of their school, or they see it as, oh, this is a great opportunity. I'm D1. I'm a big school, Power 5 or Power 4 now. I think that's how a lot of them see it, and I think that's just going to be a hard thing to change their mindset on that at this point, especially with NIL.
I think that, and this is just my opinion, you guys are a lot more knowledgeable about baseball than I am. However, baseball, in my opinion, and from what I've observed, happens to be that one sport where talent kind of transcends for all, meaning that you don't necessarily have to have just a lot of more pipelines to be seen by professionals. And if you have talent, you can make it to the next level a lot easier than, not say easier, but without all of those channels, such as big schools and television and all of those things, to make it to the next level if you have the talent. Versus football or basketball, which, the eyes are on. Baseball just seems to be one of those sports because when I look at a lot of the people who are pros, they're not coming necessarily from, Ohio State or Michigan or, Alabama or they're coming from a lot of different places. So I don't know. Am I correct on that? Or
Yeah, I agree.
You are.
With that. I mean, they would say it's probably harder to get there from HBCU, but I feel like if you have the talent, like the odds will see you no matter where you're at. You just got to produce. I hate to say it. I mean, you got to put up the numbers too. Like people look at numbers nowadays. Numbers is what matters. So I mean, you gotta be able to put those up as well.
yeah, because a lot of times it's your situation that's on the team.
Yeah.
And your ability to play, injuries, a lot of other factors have a lot more to do with being able to be successful, getting to the next level, more so than being on television and how big, because it's that particular sport is not set up and geared like that. College baseball is not geared up like college football. It doesn't have the same television fan base as college basketball, college, football does, where it's like, okay, I'm turning TV on Saturday so I can see, and if I don't see them, then they don't exist, whereas you guys' pipelines are a little different. Like you said, baseball, in my opinion, growing up watching, it was always a number sport. Like, okay, who's got this, 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 and this, who's done this, this, and this, and they kind of stand out, and then they go from there.
Yep.
So taking it back to freshman year, we kind of got, some hard news. I think it was a trip coming back from Benedict.
Mm-hmm.
Hollins told us, the guy who recruited us, Coach Hollins, he wouldn't be coming back. He'd be pursuing minority baseball prospects, which we see you got the Final Four in the background. Shout out MVP.
Yep, MVP.
But what was it like when you received that news? A guy who brought you in, who you knew since high school. What was it like when you heard that news that he wouldn't be there for the rest of your college career?
Well, yeah, first, shout out MVP. Thank you guys for everything you're doing. I love it. I love you putting black or minority men, young men on a pedestal and be able to put them on social media so they can't be seen. That's a great format that you have going. So for me, it kind of hit hard because when it came to recruiting, like Alex said on his podcast, and a lot of people who we came in with had similar stories. Things didn't work out the way we thought, and like another school might have messed us up, and then we went to Tuskegee, and he was still there for us. Or as in my case, I didn't see the message he sent me for 2 months, and apparently it showed I read it, and I never saw it. And so when I finally got back to him, he was still being able to be there, open and honest, and talk to me and be there for me. So being able to have somebody like that who cared about you as a person more than anything, that was very hard to hear because I was going into it thinking, all right, I'm away from my parents, but I have somebody here who I can call anytime, make sure I'm good. He's going to make sure I've got everything covered. Um, he, I'm not going to say he would just throw money to you, but like if you say you needed gas, he'd be like, I can give you some money now. You got like you'd have to pay him back for it, but he would make sure you had the gas to get to practice, or he would make sure we had food to eat. If the calf was closing and we wouldn't be there, everybody had a stipend. He would make sure we were taken care of on all aspects of life, just so we could be able to play baseball and be mentally good. So when he said he was going, hit me hard. I thought about transferring. I'm pretty sure a lot of us thought about transferring. And I had a conversation with him, even though he said, don't go nowhere. We're bringing in a coach who wants to win. I still was like, I don't know about this. But I had a conversation with him, and I was like, I I don't know where I would go because if he left somewhere, I was gonna go with him. That was my mindset. But then when he was like MVP, I was like, it might be best for me to stay. It is HBCU. It is Tuskegee. And so I got to sit down and talk with him. And I just asked him, I was like, hey, I know I'm playing first base right now for playing time wise, but what do I need to do to get back on the left side of the infield, which is what I came in for. And he gave me everything. I went and had a great summer playing for the MVP Summer League at third base and short. And so I came back into sophomore year feeling really well prepared. And I was ready to give that coach 100%. It was tough, but he made that transition easier for me by just being able to have some conversations with him and talk to him about what he thought I should do to be able to get to the next level and what I need to do to be better prepared for the next coach.
100%, man. MVP, man, they done a lot for us, man. I'm truly blessed.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I didn't see the vision at first, I was kind of upset when he had left, but man, they truly blessed us. So I'm forever grateful for that. But
And he put me in every home run derby I
yeah.
had a chance to get in. He
Speaking
was
of this
he was
dude,
like, "You want to be in it? I'm in it."
yeah, crazy. He was hitting stuff like I ain't never seen balls hit that far in my life, man. This dude, he did hit one. Our fence was like 405. The shed is like 15 feet behind it. He hit it over that. So I'm thinking it had to be at least like 450, 460. It was crazy. Wow. Just flicking it. Dude was crazy.
Man,
Crazy.
calm down, calm down.
That's speed.
Yeah, that's speed. But now college baseball, man, it really it's been a true blessing to both of us. But like, what experience from college baseball will you take into because now you're coaching, you're getting into coaching. What
Mm.
experiences will you take that you learn in college baseball and pass that on to the next generation?
So the first thing I teach them is something that I feel like a lot of guys I played with had issues with. Attitude. It's a very big thing when it comes to playing at any level, especially if you want to go to college, if, high school. If you want to play in high school and not just be on the team, you want to play. If you want to get to any level above that, your attitude has to be good. A coach will look over you for a bad attitude. He might not look over you. He's gonna know who you are, but you won't get the opportunities you should because your attitude isn't there. So with the team I'm all star team I'm coaching now, their word is race, respect, attitude, confidence, effort. And I teach them respect. You got to respect everything. Respect the game. Respect your coaches. Respect the Respect the other team. And then I'll ask them every day, what are we looking for from respect? And they'll be like, respect your parents. And I'm like, that's a great one too. So we're gonna carry that outside the field. The A for attitude. I tell them bad attitudes don't play. I'll play with six on the field before I let a bad attitude on that field. I let them know I play the sport I loved. It is emotional. I understand if you get mad or upset for a strikeout, you hit the ball hard and still got out, or you don't make a play. I get it. You've got until the next play to clear it out your mind and get back set. I tell them take a deep breath. If it's still not good after that, hey, come sit down with me for a second. We can talk, but I can't have you on the field. The confidence, that's a huge one. As soon as you doubt creeps into your mind, it won't work. It will never work. Any sport. It just playing football when I was like, oh, that kid's bigger than me, and I had the thought of I can't hit him harder than he can hit me. I got put on my butt. Simple. Basketball. Oh, the kid's big. I can't get the layup over him. I don't even hit the backboard and just go straight up and go straight back down. Like simple stuff like that. Confidence is a big, big thing. And then the effort. Being small, growing up, I had to have effort. I was like, I feel like if I gave effort, then they could say, okay, we can look at putting Nevin in. So I try to teach them give effort because at a certain point, you even if you do have confidence, your skills won't help you in every aspect of the game. There's going to be something where you might not have worked on it, but if you give 100% effort, there's a chance you can make that play. So I try to teach them those four things, and then other than that, I just try to coach them in a way that I feel like I need to be coached because I think I had four different coaches in 4 years. Junior year, I had a coach in high school. Junior year of high school, he left. Then we got a new one my senior year of high school. Then freshman year of college, I had Hollins, and then he left. And so I had another coach. So I try to coach them in a way for them to learn as much as they can, fundamental wise. Um, so then when the next coach gets them, if I can't get them the next year, they're already on a good level grounding, and they won't have to worry about, oh, this coach is something's wrong with the coach. They know how to approach a game and what to focus on. So I try to give them small things for them to focus on and look at in everyday life or like when they go out to the field.
100%. That's great. I think we've had a great podcast so far. We're really, really glad to have you on. It's long overdue. Kind of want to leave it off on this note. I always want to ask my athletes that I have on here, say you as a kid, like around maybe teenage years, getting ready to, wrap up high school, getting to the next steps, going to college, maybe play professional. What advice would you have for a kid around that age, looking to reach, the levels that you reach? What advice would you give to them as far as going about things?
Um, I'd probably say two things. You got to understand the difference between patience and taking time. In college, I thought I understood patience, but it was because I knew it would take time for the stuff I practice and train on to actually show. Um, but seeing it as a coach, patience is not the same thing as understanding it takes time. Being patient will help you tenfold. Like big. Yes, you have to understand it takes time, but you also have to be able to tell yourself, hey, I might not have gotten it right today, but I'm gonna come back tomorrow. I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna work on every aspect of it to get better.
Yeah,
So being able to be patient with yourself, and then just be fundamentally sound. Work on fundamentals when you're training. When you get into a game, be an athlete. That's the easiest way to do it. You go in and train like a pro, and you play like a kid. That's the simplest way to put it. You train on every little thing that you think will be used in the game, and when you get to the game, you can basically black out and just be an athlete, and it works out 90% of the time.
I'd like to thank you for coming. We appreciated having you here and listening to your insights and things. Very interesting conversation. Happy to have you and would be happy to have you back.
Thank you for having me. I'd love to come back.
Have you back, man. Love, bro. Appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.